Maybe for the people who are already working, it may not be required, but for people like Mahesh and all, the full form of SAP System Application and Production Data Processing, it's a ERP package. ERP package means it's Enterprise Resource Planning Package. Basically, ERP facilitate to plan and coordinate between different departments. Those are associated with the business. Okay. If you go to any business, there are multiple departments who are associated. There are multiple departments who are associated. ERP facilitate the planning and coordination between different department. It specifies how to use the four M's. Four M's are money, material, machinery, and manpower. Okay. To do any business, you need to have the money. Okay. If it is a product-based business, you need to have the material. If it is a service-based, you need to have service. Service-based business are something like your mobile network, etc. Okay. And machinery you should have, and manpower is obvious. If you are producing any customer, to produce the product, you should have manpower, and to sell your product, you should have people. Okay. So those people are nothing but customers. Okay, let us try to understand the example of some of the products that we use in our daily life. Okay. For example, if you take the example of soap, okay. If you take the example of soap, do you find any product like soap directly? If you take the example of a fruit, the fruit will be available for whatever gardens or trees which are there. But the soap is something which is not available directly. Okay. To produce the same soap, what do we require? We require some of the raw materials like edible oils, some fragrance, etc. We require. Okay. So how SAP facilitate is, for example, to sell your soaps, you take any of the companies like Wipro or Hindustan Unilever, take any of the company example. To sell your soaps in the market, you have distributors across the country, different locations in the country. Okay. How does that industry operates is, the distributor who is there, the distributor places the order. He places the order to company, and company will produce this product to the will supply this product to the distributor, and distributor will distribute across and make it available. Okay. But how the coordination happens is, the advantage with the SAP is end-to-end business functions, end-to-end departments which are required in a business will be connected through this platform. How it will be connected is, for example, we have a distributor. We have a distributor in Hyderabad, placed order for 1,000 cases of soaps. Okay, or 100 cases of soaps. Okay. Then the company system has to behave in such a way that there will be multiple options. Okay. If product is available, what should we do? Can someone tell me? If the product is available, what is the next step? Hello.
Transport.
Yeah. If the product is available, then the immediate thing is, uh, we need to search for a transportation arrangement, isn't it? Okay. The goods has to be picked, packed and picked from warehouse. Okay, the goods has to be packed and picked from warehouse. We need to search for the transportation, and we need to when we deliver the goods to customer, we need to check whether payment has been received or not based on the terms and conditions that we are having with the distributor. If it is an advance payment before processing the order itself, the payment should come. If it is a 15 days credit or 20 days credit or 10 days credit, based on that credit period, you should pay back the money, etc. Whatever the payment terms that we are having based on the terms and conditions, we need to check the payment. So there are different departments associated in this process. Okay, the first one is when customer places the order. For order management, you need to have your sales team will process order. Okay. In SAP, this module we used to call it as sales and distribution module. And we need to search for the transportation department. In SAP, for this one, there is a module called LETRA. It is in the older version of SAP. And in S4, there is a module called, even in ECC also, there is a module called transportation management. Okay. Similarly, and to pick and pack from warehouse, we have WM or EWM, extended warehouse management and warehouse management. And to track the payment maintenance accounting, we need to have FICO people. Okay, the finance department should be there. So everything will be coordinated. For example, if the product is not available, then what happens? Then what would be the action? Forget about SAP. Normally, what should we do? When customer places the
We
order,
need
for
to
example, product is not available,
get
what should we do?
we need to get the product from the vendors or some
We need to get the product from.
product from the vendors, like whoever is supplying for us.
No, no, for example, if you are having the manufacturing, you can't, soaps business and all, you can't produce from outside. No, 99% of the soap business will be done by the manufacturer only. Okay. If the product is not available, then the immediate thing is alert should go to production department, isn't it? When the customer places the order, if the product is not available, product alert should go to production department. Okay. Then what the production department will do? There is a module called PP in SAP. Okay. The PP team will, what they will do? They will check for raw material availability. Okay. If the raw material is available, production commence and the production planning team works. Then the production commence. Okay. Production commence. And once again, your warehouse team will come into the picture to keep this finished product in the warehouse. Okay. And if the product is not available, if raw material is not available, then what should we do? the sourcing and procurement team will come into the picture. Okay. S&P team will place the order to vendor. Then vendor will deliver the goods. Okay, if our terms and conditions are with vendors are like, we will transport our we will go to the vendor premises and pick our own material because we are having transportation facility. Then again your transportation TM will come into the picture while we are getting the goods. Again, whatever raw material we procured from vendor, those has to be placed in a proper warehouse. Then your and WM will come into the picture. Okay, and for vendor we need to pay the money. Okay, then your FICO will come into the picture, isn't it? Vendor will give the goods and he will keep quiet or what? He will not keep quiet. No, he will expect the payment from the company. Okay, so this entire process, whatever we are discussing now, it will happen in a fraction of seconds. By implementing SAP, the entire process will happen in fraction of seconds. Okay, and the key for the entire process is, for any business, what is the key? Customer is the key, isn't it? If customer is not there, does any business survive? If customer is not there, does any business exist? None of the business will exist if the customer is not there. So the key for this entire thing is the the order has to be placed by customer. Once the customer places the order, okay, there is a concept called availability check. Okay, in SAP there is a concept called availability check. The system will check whether the product is available or not. If product is available, then the system will propose when the stock can be delivered to customer. If the product is not available, then the system will send alert to the production department. Then there they will the production planning configurations and controls checks whether the raw material is available or not. If raw material is not available, then immediately the purchase requisition and purchase order to vendor will be generated. All this will happen in a fraction of seconds. Okay, that is why all the companies implement SAP, even though it is little bit expensive. Okay, so when we come back to our presentation, so the proper planning between different departments will be achieved by implementing ERP. And why ERP is ERP, why SAP particularly among the other ERPs is SAP have its presence across all modules. If you take some of the other ERPs, for example, Oracle. Oracle is very strong in transportation management. Oracle is very strong in financials, but they are not strong in custom sales. They are not strong in sales and distribution. They are not strong in production planning. They are not strong in sourcing and procurement or material management. Okay. Similarly, you have some other companies like for order scheduling. You have other companies like Blue Yonder, okay, which is strong in supply chain management, and JD Edwards is there in the packaging goods and procurement, and they are there in the order scheduling also. Like that, many other things are there. Earlier, we used to have the PeopleSoft. Now it is acquired by Oracle. Okay. When we compared with other modules, the advantages with SAP is only SAP will have the solutions for all the department that exist in the organization. You have seen the departments, different departments, sales and distribution department, finance, warehouse management department, transportation management department, sourcing and procurement department. Okay, to do all this, we need to have manpower. Okay, then the manpower will come by HCMS, or there are multiple departments in HR. multiple modules in HR. There are five, six modules in HR. Okay, for payroll, we have a module in HR, like that HR module is there. And similarly, there are planning modules like APO. Okay, there is a quality management module. There is a module for integrated business planning. APO is advanced planning and optimization. And there are modules like PPDS, production planning and delivery scheduling. All these, the existence of multiple modules which are required for the business is possible only in SAP. Okay, SAP is a proper integrated ERP, and the best example is if a customer places the sales order, okay, it will be updated in the production planning for metal requirement planning, in raw material procurement, in TM for freight arrangements, and anyway finance for the end result. Okay, end result of any organization is to earn a profit. They will earn profit by collecting money from the customers for the whatever goods and services they have provided to customers. Okay, and as of now, there are two SAP versions which are the, which you can see it in the market. One is ECC and another one, the recent one is S4HANA. Okay. And in ECC, there are multiple versions which are there in the, which were there. Now, most of the companies who are implementing ECC and ECC are on SAP ECC 6 version, and they have the enhancement packages which are from 1 to 8. Okay, this is about the technical thing. And for SAP ECC, the database which is used by SAP is Oracle and SQL database. Whereas for S4 HANA, they developed their own database which can store the data in rows and columns. Okay. Whereas the ECC system is the ECC, the database which is having used to store the data in only rows. So for example, earlier the technical architecture of ECC is something like if you want to record the sales for multiple years. For example, if you want to record the sales for 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. Now with S4HANA, that since the data storage is there in rows and columns, you can take in maths language an x-axis. Okay, in rows you can take years, and here you can take a month. Okay, like that, March, April, May, so on and so forth. For all the 12 months, the data used to be stored. Just for the example, I'm saying this. The data used to be stored like this in S4HANA version. In the current version of SAP, the data used to store like this in rows and columns. Whereas in ECC, this rows and column storage is not there, it does not support rows and column storage. Okay, it will be like this. If for every month you need to have one, for every month you need to have one column, one row, sorry. Like this, Jan, web March, like this, the data used to store. Then once all the 12 months completed, then 2022, all 12 months, then 2023, all 12 months. Because of this, it used to occupy a lot of space. Lot of space issue used to arise when companies implemented SAP. Okay, the server size has to be more, or in the recent times when they integrated, there are multiple advantages with S4HANA when compared with ECC. Okay, earlier in ECC, the companies used to have the physical servers which are located at their premises, and the data will be stored in the servers. Whereas now with the S4HANA, the data can be stored in the cloud with cloud integration, and the data will be stored in rows and column storage is there in HANA database. As a result of that, It's uh, uh, it's very economical to implement SAP project when compared with ECC, S4HANA project when compared with ECC. And the current situation in the market is more than 60% of the companies are still running on ECC because they started implementing for the past 50 years. SAP was born in 1975, okay, and we are in 2025. Almost SAP completed 50 years. So most of the business are in ECC even now, and they are upgrading their version from ECC to S4HANA. Okay. The S4HANA was implemented in 2015, and the initial version of S4HANA was 15, introduced in 2015. Even though they introduced, those are like trial versions. 15, the version which is released in 2015, 16, 17, uh, are like trial version. Actually, company started implementing S4HANA starting from 2018, and it has taken a rapid speed from 2020. And in the current market, if you complete your training, if you learn the subject and appearing for the interviews, you will be getting two kind of projects. One is uh, the upgrade project from ECC to S4HANA, and another one is the fresh S4HANA implementation. Okay, the new S4HANA implementation in technical terminology, we used to call it as greenfield implementation. The upgrade projects we used to call it as a brownfield. And in some of the upgrade projects also, because of the design issues, if you have design issues in ECC, they may go for greenfield. They may completely restructure. Even though they are upgrading, they may completely restructure their business. Okay. So the company started implementing from 1809 version, and S4HANA, as I said earlier, it is available on premise. On premise means by maintaining the servers, and you have cloud versions. Again, in cloud editions, we have two type of cloud. One is public cloud, and another one is private cloud. Public cloud is something, the cloud is maintained by SAP. You are sharing the cloud space along with many other companies who are there in the market who are associated with SAP. Okay. And private cloud means you will be buying the cloud space from the you'll be buying the cloud space from the cloud service providers who are in the market, like your Microsoft, okay, Google, and Amazon also providing the cloud space. From those companies, you will be buying the cloud, you will be implementing, you will be storing the data there, and that cloud space is your own. The limitation in public cloud, if someone asks how many in the interview, if someone asks how implement, what are the ways and means that SAP can be implemented, you can tell that the SAP can be implemented with on-premise version, which is the physical servers locating at the client premises, private cloud, and public cloud editions. Okay. The limitation in public cloud editions is SAP will not allow to, you cannot enhance your system as per the business requirements. Okay, there will be certain limitations when you are implementing private cloud. Okay, and SAP is releasing the versions every year. Till 2023, SAP has released the versions. And when it comes to version upgrade starting from 2020 to 2019, in modules like what you call the modules which exist from the beginning, like core modules like your SD, MM, PP, FICO, there are not much of changes. Okay, the recent versions, basically 2022, 2023, are focusing on recent modules like transportation management, EWM, ad logistics. They introduced many other modules. Basically, the newer versions are focusing, the recent versions focus on those modules. Okay, there are many differences between ECC and S4HANA in all the modules. The advantages with S4HANA is another advantage is user interface. Okay, earlier, if for example, one customer has placed the sales order, that order is blocked for credit. Okay, Earlier, that credit block can be released only by going to your laptop, opening SAP, logging into SAP, and releasing the credit block. Now, there is a concept called a fairy. Fairy means it's a user interface which is developed by SAP. Any device that can be connected to the internet, you can access SAP through any device that can be connected to the internet, be it your mobile, be it your laptop, be it your PC, but be it your iPad, whatnot. All the devices that can be connected with internet, you can log in SAP and do the necessary approvals, which facilitates lot of things. For example, in your company, in your business that you are running, your process is like if any order is blocked for the credit, it cannot be released just like that. Only the finance head has to take a call based on the customer, and only finance head can uh, release that credit block. Okay. In that case, if you are not in user interface, then what happens? The sales team, the small sales representative or sales officer who is working in a smaller area cannot approach the finance head. And if some urgent dispatch has to be done at the evening 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the evening, he cannot approach the finance head, and he cannot expect the finance head to go to your office and open, or at his home also you can't expect him to open the laptop and approving that order. That is a difficult task. Whereas with UI now, the finance head by sitting at his home, okay, by having dinner, he can open his mobile and approve that order. That is the advantage of Fairy user interface. Okay, we can access any app from any device that can be connected to the internet. In ECC also Fairy was there, but it was with limited functionality. In ECC also, the SAP introduced Fairy, but it was with limited functionality, whereas now there are many analytical reports which are generated by, there are many analytical standard reports which are designed in SAP, which will be useful for to analyze your data, and which will be helpful for your planning, which will be helpful uh, for smooth functioning of the business. Okay, and if you look at the architecture, SAP normally we used to call it a three-tier architecture. Three-tier architecture means there will be three layers. One is your presentation layer, another one is your application layer, and the other one is database layer. Okay. What is presentation layer, what is application layer, and what is database layer is, if you open SAP, so this is called as logon pad. This is called as logon pad. Whenever you want to start practicing on your system, this logon pad has to be downloaded, and this logon pad should be there in your system, and you can add the server details by going here. Okay, all this stuff we can discuss during the classes. So this is how we will be logging into SAP. Okay, the logging method which we are using now, it is called as SNC. Okay, SNC login, where you need not enter ID and password. This is the S4HANA version of SAP. Okay, when what are these three layer represents is database layer. Okay, for example, if you are registering a customer in SAP, the customer details like customer name, customer location, address, his PIN code, his telephone number, his mail ID, etc., has to be stored somewhere. Whatever you do in SAP, it will be stored in tables. Okay, there will be some tables who are purely technical, who are like backend tables, and there are some tables who are visible to us. Okay, and which can be used by everyone. If whatever you enter in SAP, it will be stored in some tables and fields. Okay, the database layer is something like your system where all the data will be stored, and presentation layer is something your user, who is using the system. Okay, and application layer is something like your programs, transactions, okay, whatever the presentation layer requires, okay, the application layers will extract the data from database layer and provide it to the presentation layer. The application layer acts as an intermediary between your database layer and presentation layer. For example, I said the tables and the fields. Okay. For example, I said customer to go to any table in SAP. Okay, the transaction code is SC16, 16, and 16H. There are three transaction codes. Okay, there is a table which is meant for customer master details. Okay, you can see general data in customer master. Okay, if you execute this table without giving any input, the system in this system there are 331 customer details maintained. You can, if you observe, this is the customer number, this is the country does the customer belongs to, this is the name of the customer, and if you have name to city, postal code, region, search term, street, telephone number, fax, okay, address number, like that you will be finding all the details of the customer in this table, which language the customer, you need to interact with the customer, who created this customer and on which date this customer has been created. Each and every detail about the customer will be, what is the title of this customer? Is it a company? Is it individual? Okay. Each and every details of the customer is stored in this KNA1 table. Like this, the data will be when okay, we transacted now. For example, I am a user. It's like a presentation layer. I want the data from the data of the customers. Data of the customers is stored where? In database layer is stored. For this database, what is the database? What is the table used? KNA1. So what application layer has done? If you look at this transaction is will run based on a program. Okay, based on a program. For each and every transaction, there will be a program which is running. This program will extract the details of the customers who exist in the system. This is how the three layers works. Any questions?
I'm quite good, Krishna. And from did we miss the seven?
Hello?
Krishna, did we
Yeah,
miss the seventh one?
seventh one.
Came directly from six to eight. That's what I find.
Yeah. Slides you are talking about. Okay, we'll go there. We'll go there. Purposefully, I came to seventh, and now we'll go to this one. Okay, there will be two type of consultants in SAP. They are technical and functional consultant. The the modules which takes care of the business, okay, those are the functional modules like your SD, finance, CO, controlling, production planning, quality management, integrated business planning, EWM, TM, warehouse management. All these are functional modules. And technical modules are like your basis, who maintains the system, your ABAP, who works on the programming, and your security team, and UI developers who develops your query interface for the custom requirements. All those are technical consultants. Okay, and the details of R3 architecture, as I told earlier, any company, if they wants to implement SAP, they need to purchase the license from SAP Labs. Okay, any company who wants to implement SAP, they have to purchase the license from SAP Labs. And the license will be given based on the number of users. The license will be given based on the number of users. If the number of users size is more, per user, the price will be little lesser. If the number of users are less, they will be charging at the higher price. Okay. The system used by the users will be called as presentation layer, and any request raised by presentation layer will first taken by application layer in a sequence and send the request to database layer. take the data, take or extract the data and send it back to presentation layer. This is how the R3 architecture works. And application layer act as a mediator between two other layers. And the database layer consists of data. In SAP, the data is stored in tables and fields. There are temporary tables which you will not be able to see. It will be maintained in the backend. It will be stored. There are temporary structures also. There are structures also which are there. All those are technical stuff which may not be required, but you should have an idea. This is how it works. And when it comes to SAP project implementation, whether they implemented in ECC or whether they are going to implement in S4HANA also, for that matter, not only SAP, for that matter, any software, if you want to implement directly, do you go and start implementing in your business system? No, you will not. Okay. First, you start configuring your business requirements. You start developing your business requirements in development environment. The unit testing and everything will be done. Then we will move the changes to quality. And once again, we will test it in the quality environment. Then we will ask the users to test it. That is called as UAT. Okay, we'll come to all that stuff. Once the UAT is done, then we will move whatever the changes that we have done to production. And the production system is something like a live system where the actual business happens. Okay, so in the SAP landscape, whatever the company, whether it's a small company also, if they have implement SAP, they need to have a minimum of three servers, three environments, development, quality, and production environment. Okay. Based on the company financial strength and other things, there may be a pre-production system. It is optional, and there may be a sandbox. Sandbox is like your dummy server, which we are learning the ID server. Okay. Nothing will be moved from sandbox. It's only for testing. And some companies used to have the pre-production server also, okay, to replicate the production scenarios in pre-production servers. Some company used to maintain, and some company used to maintain the pre-quality servers also. There will be something called pre-quality servers also. Okay, it all depends on the financial strength of the company. It is also optional. Pre-quality, pre-prod, all those are optional. So in each server, you will have different clients. For example, since I logged in by using the SNC login, you are unable to see what is client under. Let me go to ECC system and show you. Okay. If you look at the screen, okay, this is the ECC system. You can see welcome to ICC IDs ECC 6 and this enhancement package is 7. In ECC, there are up to 8 enhancement packages. Okay, there is something called as client. There is something called as client. Okay, what does this client means is in any development server, there will be multiple clients. Okay. In general, the client number 100 will be used for configuration. The configuration is something which is done by the functional consultant. Okay. And 200 client will be used for development. In general, I am saying in few cases it may vary. The numbers may vary. Okay. And there will be a client called 300, which is used for unit test client. Basically, here all the unit testing will be done by the functional consultant. Whatever you configured and whatever above for developer, whether that configuration and development put together is working or not, also will be tested in the unit test client. So the landscape of SAP is you will be having the environments or servers. In each server, there will be multiple clients. Okay, that is about the landscape of SAP. And whenever you are logging into SAP, you need to give your client details. Okay, client 800 means it is always training. Hmm, forgot to put the password. Yeah, this is how ECC system looks like. There are not if you look from outside, ACC and S4HANA both looks the same, but uh, programmatically, technically, there are a lot of differences, and in terms of functionality also, in many of the functionalities, S4HANA is a much improved system compared with your ACC system. Okay, and whenever you log in into SAP, you will be the initial screen which will be coming as easy access screen. Easy access screen is generally used by the users for performing the transactions. Okay, and for configurations, you will be having your SPRO screen. Okay, this is where, as a functional consultant, you will do all your configurations here in this place. And both are same in whether it is in ACC or S4HANA, both these things are same. Okay, but there will be additional nodes which has come. All these things are called as node, NOD. Okay, this is one node. And the process of expand, this is called as expanding, and this is collapse. Okay, like this, your configurations. For example, if you are a SD consultant, you will be configuring most of your things here. Okay, uh, customer and material. Okay, in any business, customer and material is used by only sales. No, no. Finance is used for payment, and if your customer service is there, CSD department will be used for some other purpose. So customer, material, vendor, everything will be configured under logistics generally. Okay, like this, you need to. There are parts which are used, and for each part there will be a transaction code also. But since we can't remember many of the transaction codes, normally it's better to remember the path. This is where you will be working for your configurations. And to do all these configurations, you must have the in-depth knowledge of each and every transaction. Okay. For example, XD01 is the transaction code to create a customer in ECC. So if you look at the screen, you need to give your account group here. The customer master creation is the end user job. But as a consultant, you should know what is account group, what is the meaning of the sales organization, distribution channel division, how it is configured, everything you should know. And if you go inside, there will be different fields which are there in the customer master. What is the importance of each field also you should know. Okay. That is why a functional consultant should completely know the work of end user, and he should know how those business requirement, how the if the end user is performing certain transaction, how the transaction is happening, what is the backend configuration that is done for the transaction, we should know. Okay, so my training starts with the transactions first. First, we will create customer master. Then the customer master related configuration things we will see. We will understand each and every field that is there in the customer master. Okay, for example, in S4HANA, the customer we used to call it as the business partner. The customer we used to call it as the business partner. Okay, if you go to the BP transaction and if you go inside, this business partner creation is the job of your end user. But the business partner creation is the job of your end user. But you should know you should know all these things. What is there are different. Okay. The moment I selected this role, the number of tabs which are here have increased. Okay, what kind of data will be stored in each and every tab? Okay, for example, if you go here in the customer general data, what is this account group? What is the supplier? What is the authorization? What does all these field represents? We should know. Okay, and if it is there is something called Nielsen indicator. What is Nielsen indicator? What is customer classification? How it can be used? What is industry sector? How it can be used? Similarly, customer master additional data, you will be finding attributes, you will be finding your condition group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the functionality of each and every field you should know, and we will be discussing about all these fields in detail. Okay, and please remember the SAP has developed by taking the larger perspective into consideration. Larger perspective means any not only SAP for that matter, any software has to be developed in such a way that it can cater the requirements of different businesses. Okay, so you will be finding uh, thousands of fields in any of the transactions, but all those thousands fields in your project you may not be using, you may be using only 40-50 fields, but at least you should have the idea about the basic fields. If you don't know any field and if you want to learn, for example, customer group, how this customer group can be used, if you want to learn, you can click on this help F1. Okay, and SAP has given the elaborated explanation about the customer group. It identifies a particular group of customers, for example, wholesale or retail, for the purpose of pricing or general statistics. It can be used in pricing and general statistics. How it can be used? You can use freely. Define customer groups according to the needs of your organization. You assign a customer group to an individual customer in either by customer master record of the sold to party in the sales document. In SD customizing, you can create a condition type that lets you create the pricing record for customer group. Additionally, when you want to generate sales statistics, you can generate the customer group as one of the sales criteria. For example, here the customer group is G002. Okay. And the table to check the sales order details is VBAK. Okay. And I want to know there are multiple things by using this you can find out your details. Okay, what is this field name? This is KDGRP. Okay, if you want to find out the sales order details by using for example, if you want to find out the customers with KDGRP field, let me write it as KNA1. Okay, and if I want to find out the details of the customer with the Gen 2 customer group. Okay, sorry. This is in sales area data. The table is different, K and maybe. Okay, now you can find it out. KDGRP. You can see KDGRP field is their customer group. Okay, and if I give Z2, I will be able to find out how many customers are there in this system with the customer group Z2. You can see there are different customers with the customer group Z2, but you can find only 1001 with three 1001s you will be able to find. These three 1001 customers are with three different distribution channel. You can see here the distribution channel HD. Here you can see distribution channel HM, HR. Okay. So If you go into the details of the subject, you will be knowing what is distribution channel, what is sales organization, etc., etc. And uh, I don't know whether Naveen told you or not. The plan is, yeah, are you there, Naveen? Okay. Any questions regarding Mahesh, Taman, and Vaishnavi? Any questions?
I'm good, Krishna.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Nope, no questions.
Okay. And the plan is to start the classes from coming Monday, 9th January, sorry, 9th June. And Naveen will come, mostly it will be from IST 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. And Naveen will share the, if any changes are there, Naveen will share those details. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
The graphical user interface you need to install first. For you now, the institute will provide the details of, provide all the details to install SAP GUI, and they will help you to log in. Uh, we have two different SAP platforms now. Both are running parallelly. Okay, there is a platform called ECC, which was introduced long back, and still there are 55% of the companies, not 50%, more than 60% of the companies are still there using ECC platform SAP for their business. Okay, there is another version, new version called S4HANA. Okay, both versions looks the same. So now, right now, I am logging into ECC screen. The moment you try to log in into ECC screen, your ECC or S4 on a screen, the system will ask you to give the client, and system will ask you to give your user ID and password. This user ID and password will be provided to you by the institute. Okay. What is your login user ID and what password you should use initially? It will provide. And whenever you are logging in for the first time, it will ask you to reset the password. You can reset the password. It has to be alphanumeric and special character field. Okay. And you need to use one uppercase of the password also. That those are the password guidelines. Minimum 10 characters, alphanumeric, special character, and in the alphabets, one uppercase and lowercase are must. Okay. When you log in into the system, you will go, whoever log in into SAP, he will go to this initial screen, SAP Easy Access screen. Okay. There will be two type of users who uses SAP basically. One is the business users who will perform all the business transaction, and another one is the consultants, whether it's a technical consultant or functional consultant like us. They will use it to make the SAP system ready as per the business requirement. Okay, to configure, to develop, to control SAP system as per the business requirement. Consultants like us will work. Okay, the users will work only on this easy access screen, whereas the consultants, they will work on another screen called as customization screen, SPRO screen. If you are a functional consultant, you will be working on all these customizations, which you will be understanding during the future course. Okay, these are the two different screens. Whereas the users will not have access for that SPRO transaction code and screen. Okay, the users will be working on this one. This is called as a menu bar. Okay, this is called as toolbar, and this is called as application toolbar. Okay, and this menu bar varies from transaction to transaction. Achha, to do anything in SAP for end user or for consultant, either we can use the path or we can use the transaction code. In simple terminology, we used to call it as the T code. We used to call it as the T code. Okay. For example, to create a customer, there is a transaction code called as XD01. In ECC, there is a transaction code called as XD01. This is the initial screen to create the customer. If you want to go by path for that one, okay, go to logistics. I will provide you the major transaction codes which we are using. Okay, just no need to you go through the path. just to show you, I'm showing you this path. Okay, create. You go here, see the same screen. Okay, either we come by transaction code or we come by path, the same screen. So the transaction codes are used to perform the transactions. The transaction could be the end user transaction or the transaction could be the consultant transaction. Either we can use the T code or we can use the path. Okay, we will list down all the important T codes that we are supposed to use. And if you want to find out the basic things like when you log in into the system, if you want to find out the basic things like your version and all, okay, you can go to system, and if you go to the status, all these things may not be required, but for you initially you should know this one. See, this is the SAP ERP 6.0 version, and this is the EHP package. EHP means enhancement package. Whoever attended my initial demo class know about what is enhancement package and all. Okay, and this is the system login time. The system time is 7:25 now, and we are on 11th. Sorry, the system time is 3:55 now. Sorry, 7:25 now. We are in the time zone of CET. Okay, and the today's date is 11/6. Okay, this system time will give the comfort when you are operating across the globe. For example, if your system time is EST, Eastern Standard Time, okay, EST is something like 8 o'clock the US time, 8 or 8:30 US time now on 10th evening. Okay, so based on that one, what system time you are following, it will be helpful for you to analyze few things. The system time you can check it by going into this. In the menu bar, you need to go to the system and check here. Okay, if you want to create a new session, you can use this. Okay, if you want to create a new session, you can use either this one or Control plus N. Okay, Control plus N, or if you click here, just Control N, simple. New session will open. Okay, you have seen new session open. The next one is if you want to end this session, you can end this session like this. The new session can be opened either by going to the system and click on new session or Control N, or if you come here and click on this one like this also, you can create a new session. Okay, and anything if you want to know, if you don't know something, if you want to know, for example, logistics, sales and distribution, master data, business partner, customer. So we went there and we try to create the customer earlier. So if I don't know what is this complete, anything if you don't know, you need to select that one in SAP, and if you click on this one, question mark means F1 help. Okay, for this one there is no F1 help. For example, if you keep your sales organization, put the cursor here, or else, yeah, anything if you want to know, you can click on this one. Okay, anything you want to know, you can click on this one. This is for F1 help. Okay, now the screen that we are seeing is in gold color. Okay, the screen that we are seeing in gold color. If you want to change the screen color, you need to use this customize local layout, and you need to go to the options. Here in the options, okay, if you want to change color, go to your visualization, or else, sorry, visual design. Okay, colors in system. Now we are in green, gold. If I want to go to the green, okay, apply, okay. If you click on Control New, the new session which is coming, or else if you log off and log in again, okay, let's see. See, the green session has come. Okay, this is how you can change the background colors. Customize local layout, options, color. See, you have two things here. Okay, for this one and for client 800. Since we logged in control 800, sorry, in client 800 and it is still in gold, the green has not come. If I apply the green here, client 800, now you can see the new session which is coming, all the new sessions which are coming will be in the green color only because we applied the green color for client 800. Okay, this is how the colors can be changed. Okay, and in the options, when you take the new system, just check all these things. In the options, you can go to this interaction design, and here there is something called visualization. In the visualization, remember when you take the new system, check all these things. First thing is you need to change your theme. As and when you take the system, you need to change your themes to SAP signature theme, which will be user friendly and on which I am explaining. Okay, you need to change your theme to this one. If you want any help on this one, I will. You can share your screen and you can set the theme initially. Okay, and you need to check all these three check marks. You need to check, and the next one is theme is okay. The next one is font setting. Okay, font size and font setting. You can change it here. Okay, colors you can change it here, and in the interaction design, in the visualization, this is very important. Okay, in the controls, you need to check show keys with the drop down list or sort keys with the drop down list. This will be helpful while you are performing transactions. Okay, for example, to create the material master, there is a transaction code to create the material master. Okay, let me click here. Let me go to the new section. There is a transaction code to create the material master. MM01 is the transaction code. If you go here, if you go to industry sector, if you select these both here, where in the interaction design, okay, in visualization, if you select both, then you will be able to see the industry sector code and industry sector description. For example, if my settings are like, okay, apply, okay, now close this one. Let me create one more session and let me go to the transaction code MM0. All these things you will be understanding in future. Just how, see, now it is not in detail. Okay, like that. You check the settings here and make sure that in your interaction design, both these things are checked. Okay, and in the list, user cursor, use cursor within list, show lines, all these things you need to set it like the way it is. Those are here. In the visualization one, show enhanced search automatically. Check this one, and Eclipse also check this one, and password field show. Sorry, password field show placeholder characters. You check this one. Okay, in the control settings, all these things may not be required. These are the things initially which you need to check. The first thing that you need to check initially, as and when you take your new system, is go to theme settings, change your theme to SAP signature theme and activate these three. And the next one is go to visualization and check these controls, which are very important for you to practice. Okay. And this screen, as I mentioned earlier, this screen is easy access screen. The screen that we are using is easy access screen. In the easy access screen, the users will perform the transactions. In business, what kind of transactions are there? Pooja or Mahesh, can you tell me? What is business?
Like purchase, sale.
Selling a goods or service to your customer. Okay, purchasing some raw material or raw services from your vendor. Okay, and to do that one, you need to have your material. So creating your customer is like a master data, which is the job of the end user or the business users. Creating a customer, creating material, all those things are the job of the users. Okay. The customer can be created, as I explained earlier, the customer can be created by using XD01 transaction code, and the material can be created by using some other transaction code. All these transactions will be performed by the users. If the consultant will work in, customizing screen, that is SPRO screen. Okay. So whenever you are performing any transaction, you need to use \n and then the transaction code SPRO. Okay. Or else, if you want to, yeah, this is the customizing screen. Once you go to the customizing screen, you need to expand this SAP reference IMG for all the customizations we will use. These different things are called as nodes, NOD nodes. Okay. If you expand any node, you will be able to find out the sub nodes which are there, and you will be able to find out the entire configuration path. So to set up any business in SAP, the configurations has to be done first. Based on the configuration, then the master data will be created. In SAP, there will be three kinds of data. One is the configuration data, other one is the master data, and there will be a transactional data. Transaction means, for example, there is a customer. For example, you are in a company
Sir,
called
can you
Reliance.
repeat the three types?
Master data, transactional data, and configuration data. Okay, configuration is done by the consultant like you and me, and master data is created by the end users. Okay, who are the business users. And transactions are also done by the business users only. But as a consultant, we should know what is each and every field that is there in the master data. As a consultant, we should know how the each and every field is populating into the transaction based on master data, some control data, some configurations, how each and everything is behaving. So if you want to become a successful consultant, first you should know what the users will do. Okay, as explained earlier, there will be three types of data. One is your master data. Who will use with master data? Business users. Okay, business users will create master data. And the other one is configuration data. This is completely done by the consultants. And by using this master data and configuration data, with the help of these two things, the transactions will be performed. Transactional data. Okay. And it will be done by the business users only. Okay. None of the consultant will have the authorization to do the transactions. Okay. So master data means the data which is required for the business. So for any business, what could be the key ingredients for any business? If you want to run a business, what you should have? I want both of you to unmute and interact.
Yeah, we should have raw material, we should have customer,
We should have product, okay, or service, isn't it? For example, if you take Zomato, Swiggy, those are services. They don't have the product. Okay, there's the service. For example, telecom network, it's a service. They are not selling you the product. If you are using Airtel or Jio or BSNL or Oda Idea, any network you are using, it's a service. Okay, you should have your product or service. But by keeping this product or service, what you can do? You can sell it to your customer, isn't it? Hello.
Yes.
You can sell it to your customer. Okay. So you need to have the customer. And for what customer at what price. Okay. For what customer at what price also you need to have in SAP, that is called as the condition master, the pricing master. Pricing master, we used to call it as condition master. So the master data which are there in SAP, basically one is your customer master. Okay. And the other one is your, the product is called as material in SAP, material master. Okay. And the third one is your condition master. And there is one more master data. There is something called as customer material info record. What is this customer material info record? You will be able to understand in the near future. Simple. Okay. These are the three different types of master data that are there in the SAP. So how the transactions will be performed is, for example, for example, if you want to create a sales order, okay, for any customer is giving you the order, okay, so you need to have that customer details in your system now. For
Yes.
any customer, if you want to create a sales order in SAP, you need to have that customer details in the system. You need to have that material details in the system. Okay, that is nothing but your product details, and you need to have the pricing details in your system. By using this master data, by using certain configurations, your transactions will be performed. Okay, the master data is something which is a one-time activity. For example, uh, there is a company called Hindustan Unilever which handles with consumer products. Okay, day in, day out, we cannot close our day without using any of the HUL product in India, being in India. Okay, so the distributors who are distributing their product across your different cities, towns, and some of the semi-rural places. Okay, those distributors are permanent. So if Hindustan Unilever wants to have their distributor data, it's a one-time activity. They will create the customer master data initially. If a new distributor is added, that new distributor data will be created later on during the business time. Okay. And similarly, the products also. For example, if you see the product Lux soap, does that soap varying daily? The details of the soap varies daily. It will not. The weight of that product is 100 grams. It will have some packing. It will have some other details. Okay. Maybe frequently the pricing may vary frequently. Okay. So the condition master update for a user is the frequently done activity. Frequently done activity. Okay. The customer master is mostly it is a one-time activity. And whenever new customer comes, they will add it. That's all. Isn't it then? Master data means it is there in your system, it exists in your system. How it exists, I'll tell you a little later. Okay, material master. It is a regular activity. Whenever new product is launched, the new product master data has to be maintained. Regular activity if new product launched. This is how the business activities will happen. So how the transactions are performed in SAP is by using your master data, by using your customer material and the price details with the condition master, will create the transaction. To create the transaction codes, to create the transactions like creating a sales order. Okay, Creating sales order is a transaction. Creating purchase order is a transaction. Okay. What is the difference between sales and purchase? Sales is something which you are selling it to your customer. Purchase order is something which you are giving an order for your vendor to supply some material to you. Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir.
For example, if you own a restaurant like a big restaurant, okay, like if you are in Bangalore, there is a restaurant called Meghana Foods. Similarly, there will be big restaurants in your place. Okay, for them, buying vegetables is a purchase order or sales order.
It is like
Buying vegetables, meat, it's like a purchase order. They will
Purchase
buy
order.
from the vendor. Okay, and supplying your food, your breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc., is like a sales order because they will convert that raw materials which they procured from rice. They procured from different vendors like your vegetables, rice, meat, oils, some masala, etc. And they will convert that raw material into food and they will sell it to their customers. Okay, basically purchasing the raw material. To purchase the raw materials, we will use the purchase order. To sell those finished product to the customers, they will use the business will use the sales order. For example, food is the one kind of example. For example, if you take any company which manufactures soap, okay, so the finished product soap sales are your say the finished product soap you can sell it to your customers. But to manufacture soap, you require the raw material. Now, all those raw materials will be procured by using the purchases. Okay, for purchase order, you will have inbound delivery. So the product has to be the product will come to your place. For sales order, what delivery will be there? What is the opposite word for in?
Out.
Out.
Outbound.
For sales order, you will have the outbound delivery. So outbound delivery means the product is getting delivered from your place to the customer place. Inbound delivery means the product is getting delivered from vendor place to your place. Okay.
Yes.
So this setup, okay, your the setup which where the all these things like your if you want to create the so for example soaps, if some company for example Hindustan Lever has to send a soaps to the distributor who is there in Vijayawada. Okay, the factory is there in Mumbai. If they want to send the stocks to the distributors who is there in Vijayawada, so what should happen at the customer premises? Sorry, at the in the company premises, what should happen? Let me put it in this way. For example, if you want to start a new business, forget about Hindustan Lever or something else. Okay, if you want to start a soap manufacturing, you tell me if you want to if you want to manufacture soaps, what is that required to start the business? What is the business to start any business? What are the processes that we need to have? To start any business, what are the different things that you need to have? Okay, first thing is you need to identify the name for your business, isn't it? The establishment of business is done by using company, isn't it? You need to identify the name for your business or company. Okay, then you need to apply for government license, isn't it? Wherever you do the business, okay, until and unless smuggling and other things, you will have the government license. But for any legal business, okay, you need to apply for government license, isn't it? Okay. While
Yes.
registering, you need to apply for government license. During this license registration process itself, okay, you will give all the detail. You need to apply for government license with all details. With all details. What kind of details you will be providing to the government? You will be providing the details of your address, isn't it? Since you are in India, you will be providing the GST number, or else you will be applying for GST. You need to apply for the government license, means you need to apply for GST. You need to give your address, contact details, okay? And you need to inform the type of business, okay? All these things you need to inform it to the government authorities, okay? So in SAP, this company and other details, all these details are called as, there is a concept called company code. Okay. So in real time in your business, if you have the business experience, who will handle the license? Who will handle the license part? Who will handle the establishment of the business, etc.? Who will handle in general? Forget about SAP in general. Applying for license, uh, uh, to check whether all our processes adhere with the government policies or not. Who will check all these things?
Legal team or HR?
Legal team.
Legal team. For policies and our legal team, but applying for license and all will be basically done by your finance team, isn't it? Legal is part of finance. Okay. In SAP also, the finance team will create this company code. Okay. The finance team, in SAP, there are different modules which I explained earlier. Okay, there is a module called FICO. So whenever you are implementing new, whenever you are implementing new, whenever you are implementing SAP for your new customer, for your new client, okay, the FI consultant will create company code. It starts with when you are starting a new, when you are implementing the SAP for the first time to any company, the first activity that will happen is the company code creation. Company code creation. Okay. This will be done by the FI consultant. So you said you applied for all the license, you have given the details to customer, license has come. Then to manufacture soaps, what is that you require?
Raw materials
Huh?
like uh, oil and other things.
Okay, fine. If the oil and other things have come, where do you do that one, manufacturing? What is that called?
Factory.
In the manufacturing facility in general, we used to call it as plant. Okay, isn't it? Plant. In SAP also, we use the same terminology. Plant is the place where your goods are generally manufactured. Okay, who will handle this raw material? Who will handle this plant and all? In general, raw material procurement and all will be handled by team, material management team or sourcing and procurement team. The production process will be taken care by PP team. So the plant creation, the next enterprise structure will be next one that will be created as part of any SAP implementation is your plant. The consultant in general is responsible for creation of plant. Okay. I'm just trying to narrate your business scenario with SAP. Understood, guys?
Yes, yes.
So the next one. So you created a plant. Plant means where the manufacturing facilities will happen. Okay. You ordered for raw material to vendor. So that raw material has come. Once the raw material come, what do you do?
Production.
You need to download, na? You need to unload those raw materials, na? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
You need to unload those raw materials, na? That unloading place in SAP, we used to call it as shipping point. Shipping point is the place where loading and unloading of goods happens. Okay. If it is inbound delivery, loading, unloading will happen. If it is outbound delivery, loading will happen. Outbound delivery means what? We are sending the goods to customer. So the vehicle has to come there. We load the vehicle to send it to the customer. When you are buying the raw material, the vendor will send the vehicle to your place. You need to download the material, unload the material from the vendor vehicle, isn't it? The shipping point creation will be done by your SD or MM consultant. Okay. So fine. You have your company is established, your manufacturing facility is established. Okay, you got the raw material. Okay, you produce this raw material, you are unloading at the shipping point. But if you buy the stocks for some 1,000 days of production, will you keep everything just like that in, wherever you want, or will you keep it in a proper structure way?
We'll keep in a proper structure way.
Will you expose it to sunlight, rain, fog,
No.
etc., or you will? So that the facilities where you can keep your product in SAP, that is called as, in general, we will call it as the warehouse, isn't it? In general, we will call it as the warehouse. So in SAP, we used to call it as the storage location. Warehouse also is there in SAP. That is a little bit different concept. Okay, warehouse management is a process. So the place where we keep materials. These materials could be raw material or finished product. Finished product is something which is ready for sale. This metal could be raw material or finished product where you can store these materials. This is also the MM or SD consultant based on the requirement will create the storage location in SAP. So very good. You established a company. You established the manufacturing facilities. Okay. There is a lot to do with plant. PP and quality management, many modules are there. I'm not going into all that because that is not required for us. Okay. So you established the plant, then you bought the raw material, you unloaded at the shipping point, you kept the raw material in the storage location, then the manufacturing process happens. Again, the finished product also, they kept it in your storage location. There may be a different storage locations for raw material storage, there may be a different location for the finished product. So once these products are produced, why you are producing this product? What is the purpose of producing any product or service?
To sell to the customer.
To sell to the customer. Very good. So now our actual role will come into the picture. Okay.
So can I ask one question?
Yeah,
So
sure,
fifth
sure.
point, like I am trying to understand the like, business functionality as you're explaining, plant and raw material and manufacturing. So suppose like if we get a like bulk order and something and we are out of the finished product. Okay, so we will have the raw material and we will manufacture. Okay, understood. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, that end-to-end integration. Have you attended the demo class?
No, sir, I missed it.
Okay, okay. That end-to-end integration will be done by a concept called availability check, which we'll be discussing in future. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So now the sales has to happen. For example, if your business is having the international presence, you are selling in some 10, 15 countries. The policies for different countries may differ. Okay. The pricing for different countries may differ, isn't it? Okay.
Yes.
And the way in which you transport for different companies will differ. For example, if you take Bajaj Electricals, or not Bajaj Electricals, sorry, Bajaj Automobiles, okay, which have the business, they will do the business in Africa. Many of the African countries, you will find Bajaj vehicles. They will do the business in Sri Lanka, they will do the business in all the neighboring countries like your Nepal, they will do the business, Bangladesh, they will do the business across. For example, if the stock has to be transported to Sri Lanka and Nepal, will both the transportation methods same?
No.
Not same, because if you have to send the stocks to Sri Lanka, they have to send it by using some shipper. If they have to transport the stock to Bangladesh or Nepal, they can do it by road with international license and all, or they can do it through air, but they can't do it by using the ship or something like that. So to cat and they will sell in India also. So the taxation policy, if your product is produced in India and selling in Sri Lanka, if a product is produced in India and selling in India, the taxation and other policies are same or it will differs? It differs, na? You will be having different tax policies. Okay. So to handle all these requirements, there is a concept called sales organization in SAP. There is a concept called sales organization in SAP. The creation of sales organization, is the sole responsibility of SD consultant. Okay. Clear?
Yes.
And the reason, not only the reasons that I explained now, many other factors will come into the picture while creating the sales organization. It's all the business require. Based on the business requirement, the business will tell you need to create this many number of sales organization, and there are other enterprise structure elements which are going to come along with the sales organization. So all those things will be given by the business. How many sales organization they want, etc., will be given by the business. And as SD consultant, you will be creating the sales organization to handle sales of different geographies. Okay. Different set of laws. For example, Europe. Okay, European Union is there. They formed into in all most of the European countries. They formed into union, and they have come across with the new currency called euro, okay, which will be there across all the countries. So the tax rules and everything will remain same for all those countries. So all those European countries can be handled with a separate sales organization. Like that, the business based on the business requirement, you will be doing it. Okay. That is about sales organization. and the distribution channel. Distribution channel is something like the method. If you completed your MBA, there is a concept called channel. Okay, there is a concept called channels of sales. The
Also,
four
can
piece
I
of
ask a question?
yeah.
So the sales organization depends on, like, as you said, different laws and geographies. So suppose if they have similar tax and similar kind of a thing, then it will be one single sales organization. If it differs like the taxation and everything, then it will be separate.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Whenever you are implementing SAP based on the business requirement, the business will tell this many sales organization you want, we want, and all. Based on that requirement, we will configure. But from the business perspective, why they want different sales organization, you try to understand. Okay. So the four piece of marketing are product placement, promotion, and the last one is price. Okay. These are the four piece of marketing. Okay. Product we discussed on the placement. Placement is something how your material will reach to your customer. For example, if you use your daily product like in the morning as and when you wake up, you will brush your teeth. For brushing, you will use your toothbrush and you use your paste. Okay, toothbrush and toothpaste. How do you get those products? What are the different ways and means to get those products? As a customer, if you want to buy the toothpaste, what are the different ways and means available for you?
Online, like,
The first,
e-commerce platforms.
the first and easiest thing that you can buy is the grocery stores nearby your house, isn't it? Okay,
Yes.
and there may be some wholesalers who are, if you are residing in urban place, there may be a wholesale store. Okay, and there may be a retail chain like your Big Bazaars, Spencer, Reliance Retail, Metro, Walmart, etc., etc. And as you rightly said, there is another thing called as e-commerce. Nowadays, it is growing rapidly. Okay, there may be some e-commerce portal who will deliver you the goods to directly to your premises. Your toothpaste and toothbrush, etc., will deliver the goods to your premises. So in SAP, there are certain customers who will buy only by. If we assume that there are certain people who will buy uh, only through grocery stores, there are certain people who will buy only through wholesale. There are certain people who will buy from the retail chain, and there are certain people who buys from the e-commerce. As a company, do you need to supply for all these channels or not?
Yes.
You need to have your presence across all these channels. So basically, the distribution channel is the method in which the product will goes to your customer. Based on the business requirement, the distribution channel will be created by the SD consultant. And the next thing is division. What does the division specifies is, for example, if you take HUL, if you take HUL company, they have their toothpaste brands like Close Up, okay, Sibaka, etc., etc. They have many toothpaste brands. They have soap brands like their Lux, okay, Pierce, Dove, etc. Okay, they have the personal care product, face creams like Fair and Lovely, etc., etc. They have their brew coffee, which is the beverage division. Brew brand coffee is there. Similarly, they have their atta products like Annapurna atta, and they have masalas. They have and many of the food products they have. So all these products will be manufactured unique in the unique process, or they will be manufactured with different methods. They have their detergents like Surf, so Surf Excel. They have detergents like your Rin, detergent powder, detergent. They have different things. All these manufactured, stored, handled uniquely, or it will be different for different products?
It should be different for different products.
So the differentiation in your product will be handled by the concept called division. The differentiation in product will be handled by the concept called division. Okay. This is also created by the SD consultant. Sometimes consultant also used to create the divisions based on the master data requirement. And there are other small things like your sales office and the sales group, as I explained earlier. To handle different countries requirement, different, you may have sales office for domestic sales, you may have sales office for international sales. For bigger countries like India, China, you may have sales office region wise. If you take any company which operates in India and FMCG business, they have their regional offices. We have basically four regions in India: north, south, east, west. Okay. South region is something like your Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra, and Telangana. This is southern region. Northern region is something like your Delhi, UP, Haryana, Punjab, etc. And western region is like your Mumbai, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, etc. And eastern region is like your West Bengal, Orissa, all the northeast states. We used to call it as the eastern region. So the sales office may be there for different regions. Okay. And there is a concept called the sales group. How the sales group differentiates is to sell your product, there may be you may use different ways and means. You may use different ways and means. Whenever you are roaming on the roads, you might be finding some promotional activities. Okay. The promotional activities done by the people. So they may differ to the different sales group. Your sales representatives, sales executives, they may belong to different sales group based on the business requirement. These two organizational elements also, which we used to create. Okay. Basically, the setup of all these organizational elements in SAP, we used to call it as enterprise structure. We used to call it as enterprise structure. These are the minimum organizational elements that are required for SD consultant to practice SD. This enterprise structure you need to set up. You need to set up in SAP. Okay. How this enterprise structure will be set up in SAP, we will be seeing tomorrow. Okay. The responsibility of establishing the enterprise structure is the job of the consultant. Job of the consultant in accordance with the business requirements. Okay.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
So we'll be seeing how a company code can be created, even though the FI consultant the responsibility lies with the FI consultant. But for our practice, we need to know. For our practice, we need to know how a company code can be created, how a plant can be created. All these things we'll be seeing tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions?
Like to understand the concept of, you just explained it for manufacturing plant and all that. And obviously, I am not from the marketing background or like, to, explain that also ERP and all. So, like for me to understand the basic concepts and, for like technical, to you will explain and I will, practice alone. But how do I cope up with the concepts and business structure and functional like
Yeah, like I am explaining now, like I explained now, for each and every concept that we discuss in SAP, the business scenario I will explain first. Then
okay
the how it has to be done in SAP I will explain. Okay.
so you'll explain the
Today,
business.
Yeah, today for the past 1 hour, am I touched SAP anywhere?
No.
No, we have not used. The business concept we try to understand like this. The business concept, along with that, how that concept can be configured in SAP. How that solution can be provided by using SAP, we will be discussing it one by one concept.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Any questions, Mahesh?
No questions so far. Thank you.
Okay. I'll be sharing this recording. Basically, it is a theoretical class kind of thing. I will be sharing this recording with Naveen and team. They will tell you how to access this recording. Okay.
Okay.
Now, tomorrow we will be having the class at the same time, 7 o'clock. Please join on time. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Today there is a delay. So as part of previous class, we discussed theoretically what to start any business, what kind of okay. As part of previous class, we discussed to start any business, what are the different enterprise structure elements that has to be in place. We discussed theoretically. Okay. We understood how to use this how to use the shortcut keys in system. What is menu bar? What is toolbar? Okay, and how the T code looks like, and all that stuff, basic stuff we understood, and later on we understood what are the different organizational elements that required to create to set up complete enterprise in SAP. Okay, so the first organizational element that has to be created is the company code. In general, the company code creation responsibility will be FI consultant. If you go to any of the if you who is this Vaishnavi?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So if any project, if you start the new implementation, if you are implementing SAP for any business means, the first consultant who works for that, who works in the project for implementation is the FI consultant. Because until and unless we create the company code, we will not be able to move forward on any of other things. Company code is something which will be having many accounting setups like your chart of accounts, GL accounts and all, which is a FI consultant job. So for our practice, what we will do is we will not create the new company code, but we will copy the company code from the existing one so that we will not miss any of the setups. Okay. So the path to go to the company code creation, or if you want to copy or create the new one, the path to go to the company code creation is, remember, SPRO, SAP reference IMG. Let me show you once again. By using the transaction code SPRO, I came to the screen, and from here I need to click on, you need to click on SAP reference IMG, and from here you need to go to the enterprise structure node. In the enterprise structure node, you will be finding definition and assignment. First, we will see the definition. Okay. If you go to the definition, there are multiple nodes which are there, like financial accounting, controlling, sales and distribution, logistic, general service, logistic execution, material management, plant maintenance, etc., human resource management, etc. Okay, you need to go to the financial accounting node. Here you will be able to create your company code. Here you will be able to create your credit control area. Here you will be able to create many things related to your FI. Some of the configurations related to CO will be, you will be able to do it here, but now CO and all is not required. Go to financial accounting and directly go to edit, copy, delete company code. If you click on this one, you will be finding two things. One is edit company code data, and the other one is copy delete company code data. If you click on copy delete company code, you can copy it here. Okay, you can copy it here, but this is the icon which has to be used. So the standard company code that is there in the system is 1710. 1710. Let us see any Indian company code exists. Let me find out. Uh, okay, let us copy from 1710 only rather than trying different things. To copy the company code, remember these icons. Wherever you find these icons, this icon is to display, to switch between display and change. Okay, if you are in change mode, you can go to the display mode. If you are in display mode, you can go to the change mode. This is the icon, spectacles and a pen. And this icon is to copy. Wherever you find this, you know this very well. This is delete and this is to check. Okay, this is used in transport. What is transport and all? We will talk about it in a while. This is the arg object, or sometimes this icon is used for variant. Okay, this is to filter. Okay, now we will go to copy, and we create one company code from 1710. We copy the information to a company code called as H100. Let us assume that our company code is H100. Okay. The company code is a 4-character field. It can be alphabets, it can be numeric, or it can be the combination of alphabets and numerics. Okay. Click here. Data already exists. Company code H100 for the to arg object. Do you want cancel this one? H1, the system is saying that H100 already exists. Let us see to use the nomenclature. What is this? What is the company code which does not exist here? We will try to find out. They said H100 already exists. Yeah, G100, H100 already out there. H100 also is there. Okay. So let's take the example of let's create something like 1710 USG. Oh, this is also already existed. Let's find out some name. Let us name our company as Dell. Okay. The company code that we are creating as Dell, and try to do it. From company code 1710 and to company code, we need to mention it as Dell. Okay, we are trying to copy the data from 1710 to Dell company code data. So you will get the what messages like this. Okay, what is this message? Only copy the GL accounts if you want to allocate the same chart of accounts to the target company. I told you, chart of accounts, GL accounts are there. What it is saying is only copy GL account if you want to allocate the same chart of accounts to the target company as a source company. Okay, do you want to copy the GL account company code data? Yes, we want to copy. Controlling area A100 is assigned to 1710. Do you want to copy the same assignment of the controlling area? Yes, we want to continue the same assignment. The reference company code currency is USD. You want to use the same currency, we will use the. Do you want to allocate a different local currency of the target company code? No, we want to allocate US only. Okay, no problem. This is the information which is system is giving. Okay, no issues. Now, if you observe here in the bottom, what is that you observed? Can someone tell me?
Tables are being copied.
Yeah. What does it mean? In demo
So
class,
I
we
think
already discussed whatever information you give in SAP, whether you create a master data, transactional data, anything that you do in SAP, it will be stored in tables and fields. So if a company code is there, all the information related to company code will be stored in a table called T001. Okay. Apart from that, this company code information will be stored in many of the tables. Overall, if you look at SAP, there will be some lakhs of tables and crores of fields. Okay, all of them we may not be. It's not required for us to know all of them, and it's not. We may not be using it also, but it will be like that. So all those tables are getting copied with your company code, Dell details. Okay. When we create the new company code, you will be able to see that information in a table called a T001. I'll show you once we create. I will show you. So the relevant tables, wherever there is a possibility in all those tables, the information of Dell company code is getting copied. That is why it will take time. So does any one of you worked in any software project earlier? I know Pooja has come a different background, but rest of the guys, Mahesh and Vaishnavi.
No, Krishna, I have not worked in earlier.
Okay, what about you, Vaishnavi?
Yeah, no, me neither.
Okay, okay, okay. So, in general, not only SAP for that matter, in general, any software, if you want to implement, do you implement that software directly in your business system? Do you implement, or you will do some development, you will do the testing, then once you're satisfied with the testing results, then only you start implementing it on your business? How do you do? Do you implement directly, or do you test it and do it
You
in
would
general?
test it.
Yes, it has to be tested and do it. So in any software for that matter, let us come to SAP in specific. There will be three types of environments, minimum of three types of environment while uh, you are working on a SAP project implementation. Okay, those environments are called as, the first one is development environment. Okay, and the second one is your quality environment or quality system, you may call it as. Okay, and the third one is production environment. Production environment is something where your business will be there in that system, and you will be, your business transactions happens there. But what is this development environment and quality environment, we will be discussing before. Yeah, 68% of the table is copied. Okay, it is copying, no problem. Okay, we'll be Any software implementation will be done like, particularly for SAP, these are the three minimum environments that any project should have. Okay, based on the financial strength of the company, budget and all, you may be having pre-production environment, okay, pre-production system, pre-prod system, and you may be having the sandbox. Sometimes some other companies use pre-quality systems also people uses. It all depends on the size of business, budget, and the complexity of the project. All those factors will influence. But these three systems are mandatory. Okay. And as a consultant, we'll have the other, the consultant only will have the access for the development environment. None of the business users or end user or super user, they will not have the access for the development system. For quality environment, all the most of the business users, super users, and consultant will have the access. Whereas for production environment, we will not have the access. Only business users and super users will be having the access. We'll come to that point in a while. Okay. Why I explained this, you will be able to understand now. Yeah, system is saying that an error occurred in number range. When system is trying to copy this number range and an error occurred, so you want to continue, you want to copy, no problem, copy it. Whenever you are working on development environment, when you create a new organizational objective like your company code, your sales organization, distribution channel, division, for that matter, there are many of the configuration. If you do any configuration, the system will ask you to save somewhere. Somewhere means in particular, the system will ask you to save under one transport request. I'll show you. You will be able to see that one now. Okay. The system selected object from the existing system, you selected 1710 and the completed activity, you copied from 1710 to a company code called a Dell. Okay. So you completed the copying. Go back. Go to edit company code data now. Let us see whether you'll be able to find the Dell or not. See, you are able to see Dell. Okay. Now save it. Data already saved. So now we will rename it. Address and all we will not change. Okay, but you remember these icons. As I explained, this icon is to switch between change and display. Whenever you find new entries, you will be able to create new entry. And whenever you find this icon, this is to delete, this is to undo any change. And if you find one page with multiple lanes, this represents your address. If you want to see the address, this is the address. The address of the company code will be having your street, house number, district, country, region, your jurisdiction code, etc., will be available here. Okay. Keep it. And try to save this. No. So we created the company code and we saved it. Now, let's see. I told you that if you create a new company code or any organizational elements, it will be stored in your tables. Okay, the transaction code to go to the tables is SE16N. SE16N. If by keeping the existing window, if I want to open one more window, what we will do is /o you can use and use the transaction code SE16N. If you want to, since I want to go to the transaction code SE16N directly, I use it. And I told you that the table name is T001. Okay, this is the table for company code. If you execute without giving any input, all the company codes that are there in the system will be visible here. Since we know that we created a company code Dell and we want to see that one, you can directly give your company code details as Dell and execute. See, it has saved with this name. Okay. You might be wondering from where all these details have come. All these details have come from copying. Since we copied it from 1710, all these details have come and sit here. Okay. And the next organizational element which you will be creating as part of your enterprise structure is plant. Okay. The plant will be defined under logistics general. You can see define plant. Okay. Here also we'll be copying the existing plant and we'll copy it from 1720 plant. From 1720 plant. There is a standard plant 1720 in the system and we'll copy it to Dell. Okay. See again, it is getting updated in the table. Okay. The table for plant is T001W. Okay. See, it is the plant and branches table. If you execute this one, you will not find your Dell here because you are not yet saved. See, are you able to see Dell here in the alphabetical order? No, you are unable to see that one. Now, let me, since 68%, 97% of the tables are plant copy. Okay. Now, go to this chain. Where can I edit the plant? Go here. You check your Dell, you are able to see it now. Okay. And if you refresh this table, you are able to see Dell now. Let me show you. See, the plant 2 in US, all the details have been copied from the existing plant. Okay, this is how you will be creating your plant. Now we created the two organizational elements. Your sales company code and plant you created. Now we will go to the third organizational element. That is the sales organization. That is the sales organization. The creation of sales organization is the responsibility of the creation of sales organization is the responsibility of your responsibility as SD consultant, your sales organization, distribution channel, everything you need to create. Okay. So we'll create the new one rather than copying. The path to create the sales organization is also in the same node. SPRO, SAP reference IMG, enterprise structure, under enterprise structure, definition, under definition, go to sales and distribution. Here you will be finding a defined sales organization node. Okay, if you want to copy from the existing one, you can copy, or else if you want to define, you will define our own sales organization. Okay, so from here we will define our own. Let me go to new entries. Okay, let me enter my sales organization also as Dell. Okay. And I want to use the statistic currency, same USD. Wherever I want to use the currency as USD only, so I am using USD. You can press enter. The system will give some warning message whenever you are creating Okay, if you want to use the statistic currents here, the system will give changing. If you change this, there will be data inconsistency, but we will not change it. No problem. It is a warning message. Okay. Now, there are other fields here, address, text, etc., etc. We will give all those details later. Intercompany billing, you can see sales or calendar, all these things. You can purchase organization, purchasing group, supplier, plant, storage location, etc. We'll be using it all these fields in different business purpose going forward. In future, we'll be using it. Right now, we will not fill any of these things. Okay, but you need to fill your sales organization address. If you look at these icons, as I told you earlier, this icon represents address page with multiple lanes. It's like a notebook. Okay, so I'm giving my sales organization name and some search term I am giving, some address. Okay, some address in US I am giving. Okay, country is US. Okay, and I am not given region and all. Let us go and give the region. Whatever regions related to the country US will be visible here. All these regions, etc., will be defined already, predefined in the system in SAP. They themselves incorporated all the countries that exist in the universe under the different regions that are there in the country. In case of India, for example, if you take India, India is divided into regions or states. Basically states. Okay. In the region field, you will be finding the state. For example, if I remove country US, okay, and if I press enter, this postal code does not exist. System is saying later let me give some postal code which 6-character postal code which pertains to India. Now, if you go here, you will be able to find the states like AP, Karnataka, Assam, Himachal Pradesh, etc., Jammu, Meghalaya, Mizoram, etc. Why? How it is coming? Because these regions are defined under this country in SAP standard system. Okay. Give your region as NE and remove this postal code. Okay. Go to the address again. You can see if you want to give the other fields like your email ID, telephone number, etc., you can give it, or else you need not give. And try to save this one. Whenever you are trying to create the new organizational element, which will be having the address, and you are trying to save, the system will pop up that address details once again for you to check. Okay. And data is saved. So I think these people, okay, I'll discuss with them. Actually, whenever you are saving the new organizational element, the system should ask under which transport request you should save. Maybe the system administrator might have removed that settings. I will speak to them and get it done. Okay, and I will explain that TR process in future course. After those settings, then I will explain that. The next organizational element that you need to create is your distribution channel. Okay. Any questions as of now? The distribution channel. Any questions as of now? If there are no questions, we'll continue with this organizational element creation. So the distribution channel is a single. Before creating the distribution channel, let us try to write our names, etc., etc. Here, whatever we created a company code called Dell, and our plant is also Dell, and the sales organization that we created also Dell sales organization we created, and now we are trying to create the distribution channel. Okay, we are trying to create the distribution channel. Okay. We'll create multiple distribution channels. What does the distribution channel means? What did we discuss about distribution channel? Can Pooja or Mahesh can unmute and speak? What do you mean by distribution channel? Hello.
So it can be through airways, roadways, landways, like wherever.
That is the transportation. Distribution channel means the way in which your product reaches your customer. The way in which your product reaches your customer. For example, our business is in computer business. Okay, our organization is Dell, and we are selling computer. We'll take that example. So the Dell products, how the customer can buy the Dell products? Okay, they can buy it from the Dell showrooms. Okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
They can buy it from retail.
Yes.
And they can buy it from e-commerce. And what are the other ways? And means they can buy it from the other outlets, other computer peripheral outlets. Okay, isn't it? Other retail outlets they can buy it. These are the company-owned retail and other retail outlets. These are the three ways and means that they can buy it. So we will do that three distribution channel here in the SAP system, and we will name those distribution channels as let us D1 is there, D2, D3, D already someone used this D1, D2, D3. Okay, and remember the distribution channel is a logical entity. For example, does it have e-commerce means does it have any address and all? Our company address will be there, but e-commerce means it is a logical entity. It is a way of our reaching our product to the customer. Okay, so the distribution channel will not have any address, etc., etc. It is a logical entity. Clear?
Yes.
We will use the since D1, D2, D3, someone already used. What we will do is (22, 30, 22, 33, 44). We will use it for the naming sequence. Okay, we'll use it as 22, 33, and 44. Same thing, you can write it here. Go to new entries, copy these two things and paste it. Okay. Other retail outlets. Okay. Own retail stores and e-commerce. Save it. We saved these three distribution channels. You can see it later on. Okay. And
So
as I
the distribution channel number, you just randomly we give the number, like, or I didn't understand the number part.
during
Distribution channel.
During the project implementation, you will be discussing with the business and you will be giving it. Since it is a logical entity, any name you can use it. Since it is a practice system, many people are practicing, many people created with their own names.
Okay.
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 During
Okay.
real time, when you are implementing whatever name you want, you can give,
Okay.
and rest of the things you can delete it from the system also if anything exists.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And these details also will be stored in tables. I will give you the list of the tables that you can check it later, or else you can see TVAK is the table where your sales document types are stored. Okay, TVS. Yeah, I will give you the table details. You can check all those tables later. Okay. Now we created the distribution channel. The next organization element that will, or else, let me show you the place where I have given all these details, all table details, where your sales organization is stored, distribution channel is stored, etc., etc. I have given here table. TVKO is the table to see the sales organization details. TVKO. Sales organizations. What is the sales organization we created? Dell. If you go and execute this one, you will be able to see all the details related to Dell sales organization. Similarly, you can check the other tables. These details I will share with you whenever while practicing. Whenever you have the doubt, you can see it. TV, TW is for distribution channel. TSPA is the next organization element that we are going to create. That is for that division, etc., etc. These are the table details. I will share with you this Excel. Okay, the division you will not be creating, even though you are creating the division, that division will not be creating under sales and distribution node. The division will be creating under logistic general node. Okay, you can see it here. You will be able to create the division. SPRO, SAP reference, IMG, say, then enterprise structure, under enterprise structure definition, under definition, logistic general, under logistic general, define, copy, check, division. Okay, here you will be able to create the division. So, we'll create our own divisions. What are the different divisions that we can use? We will use the same terminology. Oh, this 22, 33, 44, someone used. Okay. And D1, D2, D3 also someone used. Okay. We'll use the names like this simply. Okay. What are the different products? What are the different products that Dell is having? Can someone tell me? Let us, in our case, we will discuss about three different divisions. Okay. Those divisions are DL. Okay. DS. Let me check whether DS is there or not here. No, nothing of that sort is there. We will create the different divisions: laptop division, PC division, and peripheral division. Okay. PC division, and we will use the DO others. Okay. Other products. Let us assume that our business is having these three divisions. Copy it, go there, go to new entries. Just enter it. Okay. Save these three divisions. So we created our company. We copied the company code from the existing setup. We created our own sales organization, distribution channel, division. Okay. And the rest of the organizational elements like sales office, sales group, etc., shipping point, storage location, all these rest of the organizational elements will create. The next organizational element is sales office. The sales office can be created under the sales and distribution node. Here you can create, collapse this one. This is, if you want to collapse, just click here. If you want to expand, click here. Okay. Expand sales and distribution. You will be finding maintain sales office. Okay. Let us create two sales offices. Okay. Nothing with the D is there. Okay. Let me go to D. Down. I will use this one. Okay. Then domestic sales. So it is the number of characters here in this field are limited. So I will not be able to say save the other one. DINT. Okay. Dell International sales. Okay. So these are the two sales offices which I want to create, and each of the sales office will have the address and other details. Okay. First, let us delete this entry. So for DDOM, it is asking for your address and other details. Okay. Dell computers, the same, some address we will give. Okay. For Dell International also, we will give some address. Giving some address. Give the postal code of Hyderabad. Country as India. Let us assume that the international sales office is in India. Okay. And the state is TC. Both the details are given. I am saving this address. If you want to see the address what I have given, you can go inside. This is the US sales office, and this is the Indian sales office address I have given. Okay. Save these two sales offices. The next organizational element is your sales group. Okay. Let us assume that you have, if you have, whenever you are having the own showrooms, and when you are having the outside, there will be two different type of sales personnel you will operate. One is your in-house sales team, and another one is the team which channel sales team. Okay. So the sales group name, let us see whether these names are already used here. Nothing with the D they have used. Okay. D in, okay. We will name it as Dell. Sales group again is a logical entity which will not be having the address and all. Dell in-house sales team, or else we can remove this Dell. You can maintain an in-house sales team. Okay. DCH. CH. channel sales team. Channel means the distributors, etc., is called as channel. Who will distribute our product among the different locations is called as channel in business terminology. So now we created another two organizational element. One is the sales office. We created two sales offices. Okay. D DOM is one sales office. Okay. And another one is DINT is the another sales office. Okay. This is for domestic sales and this is for international sales. INT, you can write it as INT sales. And we created two different sales groups. D in, okay. What does this D in means? In-house sales team. In-house sales team we created and DCH, channel sales team we created. These are the different. Why I'm writing all these things in the Excel is it will be helpful to you during your assignment and in future when you are practicing, you should know what is your enterprise structure. Okay. That's why I'm writing here in detail. So the next organizational element, which is very important, that is the shipping point is the next organizational element which you need to create. Okay. We will be creating two different shipping points. So the place where you will be creating the shipping point and the path to create the shipping point is SPRO, SAP reference, IMG, sales and enterprise structure. Under enterprise structure definition, under definition, you will be finding something called as logistic execution. In logistic execution, you will be defining your shipping point. Okay. Here, if you want to copy, you can go here. If you want to define your work directly, you can go here and define. Okay. Now go to new entries. Hello.
We
Can
can
you hear
hear
me,
you.
guys?
Yes.
Yeah, I am creating the shipping point. Okay. While creating the shipping point factory calendar, you need to give what is the meaning of this factory calendar is see in any business and or for that matter in any country, okay, you will be having your labor laws and all, which is the working day, which is holiday, etc., will be defined as per the country rules. For example, in India, how many days are working days for any business in general as per law? How many working days here in India we follow? 6 days. Monday to Saturday are working days and Sunday is a holiday. If you go to US, how many working days and how many holidays in a week? Hello?
6 days and 1 day is
5 days week. In US follows 5 days week. So they will work from Monday to Friday and Saturday, Sundays are holidays in US mostly. Okay. In India also there will be some businesses where 5 days week is there, like your IT and all 5 days week. So all those details will be defined in your factory calendar. Okay. In this week, working days also there will be some festivals, there will be some national holidays. So that factory calendar is assigned with a holiday calendar and the factory calendar you need to give for the shipping point. What does it mean? If it is there is a working day in that factory calendar, the business will work or else the business will not work. The definition of the factory calendar, etc., is the responsibility of your HR consultant because it is related to human efforts. Okay, the HR will define the factory calendar. We will take the standard factory calendar which is defined in the system US, we will take it. Okay, and here you will be finding something called as defined loading time. Okay, currently I am giving 1 for loading time and 2 for the pick pack time. What are these pick pack time and loading time? I will tell you, not this one. Okay, define loading time. You need to define, okay, you need to give it here as a C to take it from the shipping point. Okay, and the moment you give C, it will ask you, let me press enter. It will ask you how many loading days how many loading days it will take for the shipping point. Okay, and similarly here also it will ask how many pick days it will take for pick pack. What is this pick pack time and loading time? We will be able to understand in future. Okay, let us keep your thoughts aside on this one. Okay, whenever you are practicing also you do the same thing, then you will be able to understand that one little later. So the shipping point is something, it is a physical location which is there in your premises or which can be outside your plant premises or within the plant premises also. Since it is a physical location, it will be having your address and other details. Okay. So you can give some address. I'm writing some dummy address. Don't think that whether it is appropriate or not. Okay, okay, okay. CA, California. Let us go here. Let me remove this one. Give this. Save it. One shipping point, I saved it. I will create one more shipping point. I will create one more shipping point. Go back. Go to new entries. D100 I will create. Okay. I will name it as D100. Or else I will name it as DINT. Del.
Sir, all are 4 digits, right?
Yeah. Each organizational element. So if you look at the organizational elements, the company code, plant, shipping point, sales organization, all these are 4 digit. And if you look at the sales organization distribution channel, these are the 2 character field. And similarly, if you look at sales group, it is a 3 character field. Okay. You will be able to find the length here. Once you come inside, you will be able to find the length here. Okay. Second one, I am doing it quickly. Go here. Give the address and other details. Giving some dummy address, etc. etc. So you can see that both the shipping points that we defined, Del and DINT, both shipping points are there. Okay. So you created the shipping point Del DINT. This is for domestic sales. This is for international sales. Okay. Now the last organization element that we'll be creating is your storage location. Generally, when you produce your product somewhere, when you manufacture your product somewhere, will you store the finished product nearer to that premises? Will you store the raw material nearer to that premises, or will you store somewhere and bring it back again? How do you do? Let me put the question like this. There is a manufacturing process which you are having. If you are procuring raw material, you will be store your raw material in the premises where your manufacturing process happens, or you will be storing your raw material somewhere and bring it here. How do you do in general?
Yeah, we store it in the near the manufacturing
Same
In
place.
the
place.
manufacturing premises only you will be doing it. Here in SAP, the manufacturing premises is nothing but your plant. So the storage location always will be created under the plant. Okay, that is the reason why I am trying to indulge that thought process into your mind. Okay, the storage location is created in the material management node. The moment if you click maintain storage location, the system will give you under which plant you want to maintain the storage location. So our plant is a Dell. Okay, if you go here, there are some certain storages which are already there. Since we copied the plant, the storage locations have come. We will remove all these entries. Okay, go to new entries, create your storage location. Okay, we'll create the storage location as Dell to simplify things. Okay, simple. We created one storage location and this is the enterprise structure which you need to do to practice in the ID server, or for that matter, when you are implementing SAP in any project as a SD consultant. If you want to start your SD process, the sales and distribution process, if you want to configure, this is the minimum enterprise structure setup that should be there in the system. Okay. So
Okay.
you may get the doubt saying that I am related to sales and the sales organization is there. Why do I have a company code? Why do I have a plant, etc., etc.? You may have the doubt. Okay. The answer for your doubt is, for example, what are the two key ingredients for the business? To do any business, what is that you require? You need to have a product or service, and you need to have the customer who will buy it, isn't it?
Yes.
If you don't have customer, without customer, is there any business? Do you call it as a business without customer? Even if you are doing the charity, also there should be someone who will take it from you, isn't it?
Yes.
So you should have a customer. So the transaction code in S4 to create the customer is BP. Okay, business partner. Okay, if you want to create the business partner, this business partner has to be created under your company code. Okay, whenever you create the business partner, the moment you create the business partner, you need to give the company code detail.
Sir, can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Sir, already so much of information is there. Can we stop the class for today?
Yeah, my intention is to stop it. Just I want to put that thought into your mind. Why do we require the company code and plant? That's all.
Okay.